We have the full interview up if you want to watch on the YouTube channel. Way more coming from that. But the one clip we want to talk about, because it's going into spring training, is the question behind Jackson Holliday, right? That's the name. Is he going to break camp? Well, Cedric was extremely complimentary of Jackson Holliday's game, and he thinks his time in Baltimore is coming very soon and wouldn't be surprised if he does break with the team. Let's hear what Cedric thinks of Jackson Holliday.
Kid's the real deal. I mean, you got to see him coming to spring training last year. I thought his maturity level was through the roof. Watching him.
It's like you could tell he's been around baseball, like, clearly for all his life. It's I was rehabbing in AA, so I got to play with him for a few games, and I got to witness just how much in tune with the game he is. It's like, so watching him play short, he's got that internal clock already. Like, just one of those things where, and I say internal clock as in balls hit, he can tell how hard it is and how long he has to get the ball in his glove, out of his glove, to first base to make sure he gets the out on basically every play. And with the athleticism that he has, which I feel like he has more athleticism to build off of, because I did some speed work with him, and I was like, he's still young. Like, he's still growing into his body, and you can kind of tell that. But again, still super athletic with a lot of potential. So it's exciting.
So you know what I loved about it with Cedric talking about it, and you guys know how I felt about Jackson's potential. You guys have seen it. We all feel the same. But the thing that I want people to notice on was Cedric was talking about the game slowing down for him, the maturity level to be able to understand and assess plays at a fast level, but without speeding yourself up in the game. So people that don't understand that, when you're younger, or sometimes as you keep moving up, sometimes you have that moment of like, oh shit, like I got to adjust because things are happening faster than I'm ready to handle it. Jackson's processing it, but able to keep himself under control and make all the plays. Now he's going to grow into his body. It's going to take time, but Cedric loves what he saw with Jackson, Zach. And I think Oriole fans, Cedric's been around a lot of great players, and there's a lot of great ones on the Orioles. That's high praise from one of the best guys and one of the leaders on the team.
Yeah, extremely high praise. And earlier in the interview, Cedric said that he would not be surprised at all if Holliday made the team out of camp. And I think that is kind of the expectation, especially with fans, is that Jackson Holliday is going to probably be the starting second baseman come opening day. I think Gunnar stays at short for the time being. But, him not being there for opening day would almost be a disappointment to a lot of fans. And I think it is something where going into it, it's not every day that you say this 19, 20-year-old is it's his job to beat for the second base job. And it is. I think going into it, if he proves that he is what they think he is, he's going to be playing on opening day.
You know what? I'm still pumping the brakes on that. I know I'm still pumping the brakes on that. I think by every reason he can break with the opening day roster. It's not me being, oh, come on, Ryan, you're just killing the vibe. I get it. It's not that.
I just think if he plays well, and I just see it hard for them to find a reason.
So that's the thing, of playing well. I think he can play well, but I think he has to be almost damn near perfect, blow the doors off in spring training, where they're like, we can't keep you down. Like, not that for this instant, but if they have a reason or have an example to not rush him, they're going to do that. I know that people are going to say, well, wait a minute, he's ready. He very well may be. But if they have some guys and they feel like they can give him a little bit more time, they will. But if Jackson goes down there and hits 7 bombs and, is in 500 or whatever it is, they'll be like, the dude's ready. But if he has a pedestrian spring training,
if he has pedestrian, I think there's, especially now you have guys like Soto and Maton that have come in, other lefty bats that play second base.
And you still have Arias.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm thinking of more who I would think, because I kind of think Arias, he should be good on the team, but I think those three, Soto, Maton, and Holliday, are kind of competing for that lefty infielder second base.
But here's the other thing with Jackson Holliday. You're calling him up. You're not having him sit the majority of the games either. So people have to keep that in mind. So if Jackson's ready, he's going to be your everyday player. And the Orioles didn't do that a lot last year, right? Even in the beginning, Gunnar played a ton of games, but they rotated, but Gunnar was fixated in.
Well, so hold on. Like, is it safe to say that Jackson has had a better minor league career than a Gunnar Henderson? Or
no, I shouldn't say that. Jackson's rise was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, and that was more impressive for his age than Gunnar. But Gunnar's peak year that showed him he was the number one overall prospect, that raw power and his ability, that to me was Juan Soto-esque when I saw Soto. And for those that didn't know, Soto went from low A to the big leagues that year, and Soto is one of the best hitters in the game.
Well, I think it does seem like, I think a lot of Orioles fans are saying, well, there's no way Jackson doesn't break with the team out of space. I feel like that's the expectation right now. But I think that on the other flip side of that, it's like, well, I feel like some of the fan base's reaction will be if he gets sent down, well, he's going to be down there till June or down there till. But I think, and I see a comment, I lost the StreamYard for a second, but I see a comment where it's like, he'll start down, we'll get caught up within a month. If he goes, because how many at bats did he have at AAA? What was it?
Not many.
50, if I'm not mistaken. 51, something like that. If he goes and in another 100 at bats, hits 330, 375, whatever it is, he'll get called back up. It's just a matter of getting him experience and getting him reps down there at that level. So I don't think it's going to be a thing where if he has a perfect spring training or near perfect, he'll probably stay.
He had 91 plate appearances in AAA, 75 at bats, hit 267. And like I said, his pure hitting was probably better than Gunnar's. And again, at his age, it was ridiculous because no one does what he does at his age. But that's the part of it. Not a lot of reps there. And I'm actually looking at the comparison to Gunnar Henderson here, where Gunnar was that 1 year, and Gunnar had the COVID year too, by the way. So he had time to kind of have to wait. But Gunnar in the minors, as I'm pulling this up here, and I'm here it is. Gunnar, when he was in Norfolk in 2022, he had 295 plate appearances. Okay. And in 2021, when he got up to AA, and that was where he ended, he started 2022 in AA the next year. And in 2021, he finished in AA. So at the AAA level, Gunnar Henderson got 250 at bats, 295 plate appearances. So that's the only holding pattern I have for that. Jackson Holliday, for his career in the minor leagues, has 671 plate appearances, 541 at bats in the minor leagues. And I think he's a MLB ready guy that is poised, but do you rush a guy when you have the luxury to wait it out a little bit? His time's coming. He's going to be a star. He's going to be up there. I just don't know, Birdland, if it's going to be right in the beginning. If I'm wrong, I'd be happy about it. Great. Dude's a stud. I think you guys got my point. I'm not saying here Jackson Holliday.
I think it's very similar to the way I look at it. Is very similar to Grayson Rodriguez last year. It was kind of seen as, okay, Grayson should make the team coming out of camp. Obviously, Grayson a little bit different. He had spent a lot more time in the minors, had looked like he was coming up the year prior, but then got hurt. And Grayson couldn't really put it all together in spring training. They send him down to start the year, and then immediately, game 5, Kyle Bradish takes the ground ball off the foot, and now Grayson Rodriguez is back up. So we don't know how this is going to play out. There's so many different ways that it could play out. Who knows? Maybe he does start down in AAA to start the year, and then unfortunately something happens and they have to bring him up after a week or two. So, there's a lot of opportunity to go around.
Yeah, and so I will say this, and then we'll move on. Rolling with Rock, I see this. Burns for 1 year also makes me think they're going to put their best players forward no matter who they are, including Jackson. I agree. They're going to put who they think is ready, but that's the part of it is Jackson being a young player. He's had success at every single level. And one of the things that teams want to see is when you have to deal with failure. And that's a big part of it. Mm-hmm. And at the major league level, that's the last part of failure. Like Grayson Rodriguez didn't have any failure until he got to the big leagues. Cedric Mullins, when he got up there, first struggle in the big leagues. Gunnar Henderson struggled a little bit in the minor leagues and struggled in the big leagues. That's a factor that's going to go into it, and you're going to have to be okay with that wave. I want Jackson Holliday to come up, and he never goes back down. That's my ultimate hope